Welcome to my channel. What if I told you that a simple 1-cent coin in your pocket could be hiding a story worth more than money? Look closely, these 3 American pennies may look ordinary, but each one carries a piece of U.S. history. From major economic changes to important moments in America's past, these tiny coins have witnessed it all. Some collectors spend years searching for rare pennies just like these. And in certain cases, a single cent can be worth far more than its face value. So before you ignore an old penny, take another look. You might be holding a hidden treasure without even knowing it. Like, share, and subscribe for more amazing coin stories. Let's get started. Take a deep breath, and imagine this. A small copper coin, forgotten in old drawers, lost in dusty pockets, passed through thousands of hands. But what if this tiny 1975 1-cent coin was carrying a hidden story from America's past? This is the 1975 Lincoln Memorial penny. At first glance, it looks ordinary. Just a simple 1-cent coin. But behind this small piece of copper lies a fascinating journey through history, economics, and American culture. The year was 1975. America was going through a period of change. The Vietnam War had recently ended. The country was recovering from political scandals and economic uncertainty. Inflation was rising. People were worried about the future. Yet every single day, millions of Americans carried coins exactly like this one in their pockets. This penny quietly witnessed an important moment in history. The coin features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. Lincoln's face had appeared on the cent since 1909, making it one of the most recognized coin designs in American history. On the reverse side stands the famous Lincoln Memorial. A symbol of strength, a symbol of unity, a symbol of a nation trying to move forward. Now look closely at the date. A year before America's bicentennial celebration. Excitement was growing across the country. Preparations for the 200th anniversary of American independence were everywhere. The nation was getting ready to celebrate 2 centuries of history. And this penny became part of that story. Millions of these coins were produced by the United States Mint. In fact, more than 5 billion 1975 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint alone. That is an incredible number. Day and night, giant minting machines worked continuously, creating coins that would travel across America. Some would end up in cash registers, some in piggy banks, some in family collections, and some would disappear for decades before being discovered again. One interesting detail about this coin is the missing mint mark. Many people believe that a missing mint mark automatically means a coin is rare. But for most 1975 pennies, no mint mark simply means the coin was struck in Philadelphia. Still, collectors continue searching through old pennies because rare errors can sometimes be worth surprising amounts of money. And that possibility keeps the excitement alive. Another reason collectors love the 1975 penny is its composition. Unlike modern pennies, this coin was made from 95% copper. It weighs about 3.11 grams and contains far more copper than today's 1-cent coins. Years later, the United States would change penny production because copper became too expensive. That means the 1975 penny belongs to the classic copper era of American coinage. Every scratch on this coin tells a story. Maybe it helped buy a newspaper. Maybe it was used in a school cafeteria. Maybe it crossed the country inside a truck driver's pocket. Maybe it sat forgotten inside an old coin jar for decades. No one truly knows. And that mystery makes every old coin special. Over the years, collectors have searched for valuable 1975 penny errors. Some look for doubled letters. Others search for off-center strikes or unusual minting mistakes. While most 1975 pennies are worth only a few cents, rare error coins can attract serious attention from collectors. That is why experienced coin hunters carefully inspect every detail. The numbers, the letters, the color, the condition, because sometimes the smallest difference can make the biggest impact. Today, more than 50 years later, this little penny remains a surviving piece of American history. It has outlived economic crises, political changes, technological revolutions, and generations of people, yet it still exists, still carrying its story, still waiting to be discovered. So the next time you find an old 1975 penny, don't ignore it, hold it in your hand, look closely, because you are not just holding 1 cent. You are holding a piece of history. A silent witness to an era that shaped modern America. And perhaps, a hidden treasure waiting to reveal its secret. Like, share, and subscribe for more amazing coin stories. What if a single penny, worth only 1 cent, was hiding one of the most important changes in modern American coin history? It sounds impossible. Most people see a penny and think nothing of it. They spend it, drop it in a jar, or leave it forgotten in a drawer. But the 1983 D Lincoln penny carries a story that changed American coinage forever. Tonight, we uncover the mystery behind this tiny coin. A coin that millions of people touched. But very few truly understood. The year was 1983. America was entering a new era. Technology was advancing rapidly. Personal computers were beginning to enter homes. The economy was recovering from difficult years. And while major events filled newspaper headlines, a quiet revolution was taking place inside the United States Mint. A revolution hidden inside a penny. At first glance, the 1983 D penny looks ordinary. On the front, we see Abraham Lincoln, the president who preserved the Union during the Civil War. His portrait had appeared on the cent for decades. Strong, familiar, timeless. On the reverse side stands the Lincoln Memorial, one of America's most famous landmarks. But the real story was not in the design. The real story was hidden inside the metal itself. For many decades, American pennies were made mostly of copper. Collectors loved them. The rich copper color became part of American history. But by the early 1980s, copper prices had increased dramatically. Producing pennies was becoming expensive. The government faced a difficult question. How could the penny survive if it cost too much to make? The answer changed everything. In 1982, the United States Mint began replacing the traditional copper composition with a zinc core covered by a thin layer of copper. The change was historic. And by 1983, the new composition had become standard. That means the 1983 D penny belongs to a completely new generation of American coins. A new era, a new chapter, a new beginning. The D Mint mark tells us this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. Millions upon millions of pennies rolled off Denver's production lines. Day after day, hour after hour, each coin carrying the same design. Yet each coin beginning its own unique journey. Some entered cash registers. Some traveled across states. Some were saved by collectors. Others disappeared into forgotten piggy banks. No one could know where each penny would end up. And that mystery continues even today. Now here is where the story becomes even more interesting. Because 1983 pennies became famous among collectors for certain rare minting errors. One of the most exciting discoveries involved double die varieties. Tiny differences in letters and numbers created coins that looked slightly unusual. To the average person, these differences seemed insignificant. But to collectors, they became treasures. Some rare examples have sold for impressive amounts of money. And that possibility keeps collectors searching through old penny collections every year. Imagine finding an ordinary-looking penny, only to discover it was worth far more than 1 cent. That dream inspires coin hunters around the world. Another fascinating detail involves weight. Because the mint changed the penny's composition, collectors often use scales to identify unusual pieces. A standard 1983 penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. But if a rare copper example from that period were discovered, it could attract tremendous attention. That is why experienced collectors inspect every detail carefully. The date, the mint mark, the color, the weight, every clue matters. Every detail tells part of the story. And every penny has the potential to surprise. Think about how many hands this coin may have passed through during the last 4 decades. Perhaps it bought a newspaper in 1983. Maybe it helped pay for a school lunch. Perhaps it traveled across America in someone's pocket. Maybe it sat quietly inside a family coin jar for years. The truth is nobody knows. And that uncertainty gives old coins their magic. Each scratch, each mark, each sign of wear, represents a moment in history. A moment that can never be repeated. Today, more than 40 years later, the 1983 D Lincoln penny remains a symbol of one of the biggest transitions in United States coin production. It marks the moment when the classic copper era gave way to a new future. A future shaped by economics, technology, and changing times. Yet despite all those changes, this little penny still survives. Still carrying its story. still connecting the present to the past, still reminding us that history is often hidden in the smallest places. So the next time you find a 1983 penny, do not rush past it. Take a closer look. Examine every detail, because what appears ordinary today may hold an extraordinary story, and perhaps a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Like, share, and subscribe for more amazing coin stories. A single penny, small enough to fit on your fingertip, light enough to be forgotten in your pocket, yet powerful enough to carry a story across generations. Today, we uncover the hidden journey of the 2004 Lincoln penny. A coin that millions of people used, but very few ever stopped to truly understand. At first glance, it seems ordinary. Just 1 cent, nothing more. But appearances can be deceiving, because every old coin carries secrets. And the 2004 penny is no exception. The year was 2004. The world was changing rapidly. Technology was moving faster than ever before. The internet was becoming part of everyday life. Mobile phones were spreading across the globe. America was entering a new chapter of the 21st century. And during this remarkable time, billions of pennies were quietly being produced by the United States Mint. Among them was the 2004 Lincoln penny, a small coin destined to travel through countless hands. The front of the coin features Abraham Lincoln, one of the most respected presidents in American history. A leader remembered for courage, determination, and unity. For nearly a century, Lincoln's portrait had appeared on the American cent. Generation after generation recognized his face. And in 2004, that tradition continued. Turn the coin over. There stands the Lincoln Memorial. Majestic, powerful, timeless. The memorial had appeared on pennies since 1959 and became one of the most recognizable coin designs in America. Yet the true story of this coin is not only about its design. It is about the era it represents. The early 2000s were years of rapid change. People were connecting through new technologies. Businesses were transforming. Entire industries were evolving. Yet despite all this progress, one small coin remained part of everyday life. The penny, a simple piece of American history that continued to move through stores, banks, schools, and homes. Billions of 2004 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, each one beginning a different journey. Some traveled thousands of miles. Some ended up in cash registers. Some were saved by collectors. And some disappeared for years before being discovered again. Imagine the path of a single penny. Perhaps it helped buy a morning newspaper. Perhaps it was dropped into a charity donation box. Perhaps it traveled across the country inside a truck driver's pocket. Perhaps it sat quietly inside a family coin jar for 2 decades. No one knows. And that mystery is what makes coin collecting so fascinating. Now here is where the story becomes even more exciting. Many collectors search through 2004 pennies looking for rare minting errors. Tiny mistakes made during production can transform an ordinary coin into something special. A doubled letter, an off-center strike, an unusual mark. To most people, these details mean nothing. But to experienced collectors, they can mean everything. Because sometimes a tiny error creates a coin that becomes highly desirable. And that possibility keeps the hunt alive. Every year, collectors examine thousands of pennies. Searching, inspecting, comparing, hoping to discover something rare. Hoping to uncover a hidden treasure. The 2004 penny also reminds us how quickly time passes. When this coin was first released, social media was still in its early days. Many of today's technologies did not yet exist. Children born that year are now adults. Entire generations have grown up. Yet this little penny remains. Still carrying the same design. Still telling the same story. Still connecting the past with the present. Think about that for a moment. This coin has survived economic changes, political transitions, technological revolutions, and countless everyday transactions, all while quietly moving from one hand to another. That is what makes coins special. They are more than money. They are witnesses to history. Silent travelers through time. Every scratch tells a story. Every mark represents a moment. Every year adds another chapter to its journey. And today, more than 20 years after it was first minted, the 2004 Lincoln penny continues to capture the attention of collectors around the world. Not because it is made of gold. Not because it is famous. but because it represents a moment in history frozen in metal. A reminder that even the smallest objects can carry the greatest stories. So the next time you find a 2004 penny, do not ignore it. Hold it carefully. Look closely. Study every detail. Because what seems ordinary may be extraordinary. What seems common may hold a secret. And what seems like just 1 cent could be a small piece of history waiting to be rediscovered. Like, share, and subscribe for more amazing coin stories. And remember, the next hidden treasure might already be in your pocket.